So you put diversity simply as a problem?
Is a dimension of the problems that we have. All these problems incorporate these underlying principles, as it were. Yeah. No problem. Housing, healthcare, education that you want to solve in the city isn't going to be complicated. Not going to be complicated by the fact of diverse experiences that people, the beliefs, the
But
experiences.
it's also a resource, right?
Hmm?
It's also a
It's
resource.
absolutely a
so
resource.
you wouldn't want to get rid of that.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's where we get to the new design principles.
Mhm.
We can, so the new design principles, complexity, learning, diversity, connecting, locality, aligning. You may remember, like 1996, we were talking about these principles, the all, aligning, learning, and linking, all one. In any case, so we're looking in organization design, you look for fundamental design principles that will be the basis you'll use to design the structures. But you want to make sure you've got the right principles.
And who would be using these principles?
I'll get into that when we talk about the structures. But just theoretically, to think, if we were going to think of designing the world, and we had to say three things as governing principles. At a broad level, I'd say love is a governing principle. But if we were going to sort of make it specific enough to use in constructing the design, these are the ones that, and communities of practice, to me, this is communities of practice, because it's the learning, it's connecting the social vessel for learning, and it's aligning around a domain, a sense of purpose or identity.
I just want to tell you that I use the word aligning
Yeah.
as a mode of identification.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tricky word, you know.
Yeah.
In my response from people,
Yeah.
you know, it's a word that has negative connotation for many people.
That is the one I have the most trouble with.
And I'm proud of it. Because in fact, for me, learning is the best word for all three,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Because if you think of diversity, right,
Mm-hmm.
you want cross-boundary learning
Right.
as much as you want connecting,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And in terms of interlocality,
Mm-hmm.
I think that you want as much learning from each other as
Mhm.
seeking alignment.
Right.
You see what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
You
Yeah.
don't necessarily want people to just copy each other
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be aligned in
Yeah.
some simple
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
You want a learning system
Yeah.
that has its horizontal
Yeah. Exactly.
connection.
Yeah.
And so you
Yeah.
might think about these terms
Yeah.
in ways that that bring the learning element in all three.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, I think.
It's almost learning by doing together.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost learning by crossing boundaries, and it's almost like learning by finding horizontal networks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that
Rather than assuming that learning is only here,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. The aligning, I really don't know if I understand it yet.
Mhm.
I mean, this is a funny thing. You're writing, you've got this term in there, it's essential to the whole construct, but you're not sure, I'm not sure I really understand it. And these things are two separate. Something here says that they're really all interpenetrating in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So some way to say about the interpenetration in all these cases. Because you're right, when I talk about connecting, I talk about the need for, you're learning not only about the topic, you're learning about each other.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So it's
And
another
you're learning
form.
about the topic by experiencing it through the other one's experience of it, yeah.
And so
Especially
So it's a form of learning. I mean,
Mhm.
here you learn by addressing the problem in your locality, right? Here you learn, as you said, by doing together across boundaries
Mhm.
that forces you to engage with the other side of the
Right.
boundary because there's a goal to achieve. And here you learn by almost comparing notes
Hmm.
more than aligning, right? You want to hear their story
Yeah,
so that the story inspires you rather than necessarily aligning with them.
right.
So,
Yeah, and I think the verbs the gerunds are important too. Because you're not actually, you don't necessarily need to be aligned to be aligned.
No.
You know what I mean? Okay, so
Well, I see
then,
what you mean, no.
then that's probably very important ethic for the whole thing. You know, because if you have this notion of we're trying to get connected or aligned, that creates a pressure to say, I don't think you know what I mean? I want to be able to be aligning without knowing that I'm going to have to agree with this person eventually about something, you know, because I can't believe we're going to get there. It might create an impediment.